Well, we're joined now by HuskerOnline Sean Callahan. Sean, good morning. John Butler is officially Nebraska's defensive coordinator going forward for next year and beyond. I'm curious, Sean, were you surprised to hear that news, or did you expect that throughout the last few weeks for that news to come out?
I mean, yes and no. Like when Tony Butler came, we all said this was probably like why he came, right? To replace Tony White if he left to go on. And we thought leaving Nebraska was sooner rather than later for Tony White. It just kind of happened so abruptly. But, I think this is one of the reasons why John Butler came to Nebraska too. I think he felt like he'd get that opportunity to be a defensive coordinator. But yeah, I think naturally you always wonder, would they go on the outside? Who would they talk to? But there was a pretty tight lid on that. Did they even talk to anybody else? I'm sure they did. But at the end, Matt Rule just said, look, this is the direction we're going to go. And, we've got two critical weeks now moving forward with the transfer portal and players visiting campus. And we've got some really good direction.
Okay, Sean Callahan. By the way, Sean, I made a miraculous recovery last night.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you got fixed up last night?
Yeah, I went to bed, Sean. I went to bed at 5:50. And I just was.
You must have drank a whole bottle of whiskey and just felt better in the morning.
NyQuil,
That's
Sean?
how you do it.
Sean, NyQuil, not whiskey.
That's how you do it.
Gee,
NyQuil and whiskey.
Listen to
Similar.
Mr. South Omaha. Braden. Okay, Braden. First name, Jake?
Caught me off guard there. Hang on. The new defensive line coach. Yeah, that'd be Terry Braden. Terry Braden from
Terry
the Chiefs.
Braden. Terry Braden is the D-line coach. Obviously, Sean, he wasn't on anybody's radar. But his connections might suggest this makes sense. Tell us about his connections.
Well, Dawson Merritt's father is on the Chiefs staff. So there's a recruit on staff, there's a recruit in the building for Nebraska whose dad has a direct tie to the Chiefs. Okay. Obviously, Matt Rule's in the NFL, knows a lot of people in the NFL. John Butler was in the NFL, knows a lot of people in the NFL. So I do think, naturally you got a few angles there.
What about Mosey? Jamar Mosey.
Yeah, Jamar Mosey was the top high school football coach in Kansas City at Lee Summit North. So there's all sorts of angles that you can connect the dots, why this makes sense. And even last night, DiCaprio Boodle, a former Husker player that played for the Chiefs, raved about the hire for Nebraska. This was an out-of-the-box hire, but, a lot of Matt Rules are. I mean, John Butler was out of the box when they brought him to Nebraska, and Tony White was out of the box. I think this one makes a lot of sense, and the guy's in his 8th year with the Chiefs. He's got a few Super Bowl rings on his hand. He's bringing with him to Lincoln. You wonder, though, is he coming immediately, or will he finish out the run that they're on right now? Because obviously there's still a couple months left of the NFL season.
Sean Callahan joins us from HuskerOnline. Okay, Sean, the other key figure yesterday he's going to have a staff position as associate head coach is Phil Snow, associate head coach. Sean, what will his involvement in the defense be as you see it? We don't know right now, but what do you think?
Yeah, what's undefined is what position room he'll be a part of. In the secondary right now, it was John Butler and Adam DeMichael that ran. Adam DeMichael is still an assistant coach and safeties coach on the back end. So you still have a question on who will run kind of the overall secondary room of the corners. Will Phil Snow be in a position room as well as that associate head coach role, or will he be strictly a walk around role and, kind of being someone there for Matt Rule? And then will John Butler stick with the positional room? Because Tony White did not. There's a lot of things that we don't know as far as the defined roles of the staff. And, Phil Simpson came on too this week, and he essentially replaced Jack Potenza. Jack Potenza was not a name, that really got a lot of publicity, but, he was a key Tony White lieutenant that left when Tony White left. He was the Buck outside linebackers coach, handled that position. And that's essentially what Phil Simpson is going to take over as the outside linebackers. So, yeah, with these unlimited rules, you can go whatever direction you want as far as how you want to build these staffs.
Sean, regarding the portal, a lot of guys on the way out. Two-part question: are there more guys heading out, and when do you start seeing guys commit to Nebraska coming in from the portal?
Well, today is really the first day that they're going to have some visitors on campus, so that is notable on that front. And it's a moving target. There's a lot of information that changes.
Yep.
But Dane Key is a name to watch. The receiver from Kentucky. I think Nebraska is in a very good position with him. Williams Nawarni is a natural name now to watch. The Missouri defensive end, the 5-star, played for Jamar Mosey at Lee Summit North. That's a natural to watch at this point. They are hosting a long snapper this week. Kevin Galick from New Hampshire confirmed that. Omar Graham, the Florida State linebacker, played for Phil Simpson. I think he's one to watch. Phoenix Jackson was supposed to come in today. I'm not sure if that's happening or not. It sounds like Auburn could be the player there, and we'll see if he makes his trip. So that's what these portal guys too. They schedule multiple visits. You hope they make multiple visits because sometimes they might see what they want where they're at. It's a very intense 2 weeks, and today really will kick it up for Nebraska. As far as other entries, you just never know, guys. I mean, we've gotten some promising players say they're staying and whatnot. Keona Davis is the one. Can they pull an Emmett Johnson and get him back? Don't give up on that one. And that's why as fans, it's, you want to get emotional and overreact, but you've got to, take a couple steps back because an Emmett Johnson situation can always happen. And it did. And so I think Keona Davis, Nebraska, is obviously still trying to work to keep him here in the program.
One quick one, Sean. Sean, evaluate yourself here. Did we err in being surprised by these staff moves yesterday? No, in terms of timing, should we have known they had to get this done before all these kids started coming into campus, these portal visitors?
No, you're right. I think having the clarity out there for the portal visitors is a big piece of it. I think we're still stuck in the old ways, and this is the first year of this new calendar. And the bowl game is the bowl game, but you've got to these next 2 weeks build your roster for next season, and it's such an important time.
Yes.
And you can have some January visitors still too before classes start, but this is it right here. This is where the heavy action is going to start up, particularly by this weekend. I think you're going to see, a ton of portal visitors everywhere out on visits.
Sean, always good stuff. Thanks for the time. We'll chat with you again next week.
Thanks, guys.